think that's fine. Good idea, Amy. All right. Welcome everyone to the January 2022 regular meeting of the Community Appearance Commission, our first meeting of the year. We'll go ahead, we'll get started with the call of the roll. First up, John Coyne. Curtis Walker. Salvador Patino.
Here.
I guess on, yeah. George Edwards.
Here.
Maninka Gupta.
Here.
Brittany Clinton Hill. Brenda Fulmore.
Here.
Tasha Wilson.
Here.
Don Rothling.
Here.
Ethne Good.
Here.
Anton Musoff.
I'm here, guys.
Amanda King. And lastly, Judy Hotchkiss.
Here.
All right, so yeah, as Amy pointed out, we do have quorum, which is great, good turnout. First item on our agenda is we have a guest speaker here with us this afternoon, Carol Davis with the S.G. Atkins Community Development Corporation. And I've asked her here today to give us an overview on her organization and its work in the East End. S.G. Atkins CDC was a vital player and driver in the creation of the East End Master Plan, which was approved by City Council in 2018. So that's just asked her to give us an overview. So without further ado, Carol, do you have a presentation, like a slide deck prepared or?
Yeah, I've got a few pictures. It's probably best if I'm in control of them because
Sure.
they're
You should have the ability to share your screen.
a little uncontrollable.
Got you. I'll go ahead
And how many minutes am I supposed to have? I'll put my stopwatch on so I don't go over.
We can work with just about any length of time, I think.
I don't want to put you off sleep.
Got you. Let's see here. It looks like not the most Zoom savvy. It looks like, I think you can you share your screen, Carol?
Oh, yeah, but yeah, how many minutes did you say?
Anywhere from,
Yeah, however many you want. You're the main highlight for the meeting.
All right, so when
you
start nodding off, just tell me and I'll shut up. And I do see a few familiar faces. I see Ethne, I think we've met, and Brenda Fulmore, I know you. But other than that, I'm happy to meet new people. I've been the director of Atkins Community Development Corporation for quite a while. I'm also an employee of Winston-Salem State University. And so I will try to show some slides and some pictures that I put together just so you can see what I'm talking about as we go along. Now, can you see my screen?
Not yet.
No. All right. Because it helps if I push the share screen button. I know now. Okay. Here we go. Can you see my screen now?
It's coming. Yes, there it is.
Yep.
we got you.
Okay, so just in the way of some background, SG Atkins CDC is a 501c3 started by Winston-Salem State. And our purpose is to be a catalyst for economic development in the neighborhoods around the university. And so some of the things that we are involved in is that we build houses for first-time home buyers. We nurture the creation and development of small businesses. And we do that at the Enterprise Center, which is our largest project. And it is we are in, at 1922 South Martin Luther King, we're in a building that was formerly a Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club. And they were in here many years until they built a new facility on Reynolds Park Road. And at that time, our nonprofit was able to purchase this building and we renovated it in phases. So we are here with 49 small businesses and a few nonprofits. And we have a community garden, a commercial kitchen, and run our programs from here. Now, I wasn't sure how familiar you are with the East End Master Plan. So what I was going to do from here, before I go into the rest of these slides, I was going to show you the East End Master Plan, unless you tell me that you're pretty familiar with it, and then I would skip that part. Oops, what am I doing?
I think we can look at the plan again. I think some of us have probably seen it, but it'd be great to look at it again.
Okay. Oh, where is it? Okay, so in 2017, our CDC partnered with then council member Derwin Montgomery, and we got a grant from the city to work with consultants from Maryland on a master plan for the area that we were calling the East End. And you can see the East End kind of outlined in blue here, but this is an area that is between
Carol,
50.
we still see your other slide. We don't see the slide you're reading from. You have to stop sharing and reshare.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You see it?
Yes.
Okay. So this area outlined in blue is the East End Master Plan that we really focused on the area between 52 and Martin Luther King, and the area that's just north of Winston-Salem State's campus. And we focused on this area because it is close to the Innovation Quarter. And there was some concern that, well, first of all, questions about how could this area be so close to downtown and so close to Winston-Salem State and not be enjoying any of the investment that we've seen pour into downtown over the last, I guess, 15 years now, with the creation of the Innovation Quarter and all of the investment and growth that we've seen going on in this neighboring area. So part of the interest, it was in how do we try to attract some of that investment and growth into this East End area that's just across 52? And how can we build some consensus around a neighborhood vision for the future? And in order to do that, we had numerous meetings with the community and the consultants. And if some of you are planners, I guess, and work in this arena, then you're familiar with the kind of charrettes that we had a lot of during probably about a 1.5 year period. And we asked people who lived in this area and around this area, what would they like to see take place that would improve their quality of life? And our goal was really not to have gentrification, to try to preserve what was good about the area, while at the same time attracting investment and being able to encourage some growth so that people can have good options in walking distance for products and services and entertainment and just activities, social activities that are beneficial to families. As we started off, of course, we looked at all of the other plans that have been done for the area, including, you might be familiar with the Cleveland Avenue plan that the Housing Authority has gotten over $30 million for now, so that they'll be able to launch that program and start to invest in the property they own that has been critical for the low-income residents in that area. Now this said, so our initial session was in 2016, then we had workshops throughout 17, partnered with churches in the area, and then did the typical charrette activities. And making sure that we put the vision of the residents front and center and tried not to impose too much of what the campus wants to see develop or what the students want to see develop. But we thought it's very important that the existing homeowners who are there have opportunity to keep the properties that they own, to preserve the integrity of the community, keep the businesses that are there like Forsyth Seafood and some of the other minority-owned businesses that exist in the corridor. So we wanted to celebrate that history and culture, but at the same time be able to add to it. Some of the ideas that came up were that we, of course, leveraged partnerships with Forsyth Tech and Innovation Quarter, and that we spend time with community benefit agreements with developers when the opportunity arises to make sure that what we want to preserve is preserved. And of course, health and wellness programs are critical to the area. When you consider the health disparities that exist, the wealth disparities, home ownership disparities, things of that nature. So again, we don't want to displace the residents and businesses that are there, but we do want to increase the mix of products and services, provide housing at various price points for rent and for sale. And then without displacing people, find ways to build projects in the area, to add projects without destroying what's there. People like the idea of having a town center kind of facility for commercial growth. And that's the concept that we hope to develop in the existing East Winston Shopping Center area at our first opportunity, because there have been funds set aside by the city to help acquire that property at some point. We just have to get the current owners prepared to sell it. Of course, circulation and recreation were very important to the residents. And again, you can see clearly the area that we focus. Here's 52 on the left, MLK borders here on the right. Winston-Salem State is at the bottom of the screen in this picture, where we looked, of course, at current land uses, and existing conditions, and with the mix of single family, multifamily, and retail. There's a little bit of course, the whole Forsyth County campus is included north of East Fifth Street. And that, of course, the county doesn't want to change anything that's in there. So we pretty much took a hands-off approach to that, except to say that some structured parking would be a benefit because it could free up some of the surface parking that exists and make that surface parking area available for development. And again, just high level, when you look at what's currently within that area, there's single family housing that needs to be stabilized, preserved, and infill added. There's residential mixed income, which is mixed income housing, which is in orange in this slide. We'd like to see some retail at the street level along Martin Luther King, and that's what this pink color represents. And then, of course, as I mentioned, the Blue County campus. And then we discussed having an area like an enterprise zone that would be kind of a main street, as we developed a connector from MLK into downtown. So we saw this main street, which is now Fifth Street, being redeveloped with retail and offices on both sides of the street, and then maybe some kind of civic opportunities here for public space as people go from the east and cross 52 into downtown. So I don't want to spend too much time on that. I just want to give you the big picture and just kind of explain the process that we went through. But this is the area that we focused on. And as I said, we were able to get the city to adopt this plan once it was complete. And the city did make available and has available $3 million to help us purchase some of the property in this area. And it's primarily this, in this commercial area right here, the existing East Winston Shopping Center. And as you can see, there was discussion of widening Fifth Street so that it could be a better connector into downtown. And then, of course, we had some graphics that show, you know, what a great vibrant area this could be if the streets widened and there's opportunity for pedestrian activities and street level retail. And again, a sample of what style of architecture could be utilized in the area, with considering townhouses, single family homes, and then even street level retail with apartments above it. And then implementation, that's the hard part, but that is where, you know, at the end, we came up with increasing the density in this area would require about 150 single family units, maybe 1,100 multifamily residential units, 145,000 square feet of commercial space, including office, co-working, and flex space. Having a hotel down at this end of MLK nearest the campus was an idea that the university liked quite a bit. Of course, walkable retail, and then space for civic, institutional, community service, other amenities, and of course, preserving the county space up here north of 5th Street, between 5th and MLK. And of course, I'll just say finally that we, of course, it talks about having green space, plenty of green space to border the area, and encourage walking and cycling and those kinds of activities where there's really very little green space now. And then some of our themes, of course, to ensure inclusive prosperity were to preserve affordability, provide equitable opportunities for business ownership and home ownership for the community residents, replace some housing and add more so that we increase the density and don't have to displace people, but have room for more people. And hopefully building first on vacant commercial sites, vacant residential sites, and leverage public and private funds. So from here, I'll go to some slides. And you probably, can you see this slide? Can you see the, what are you looking at now?
We don't see it. You have to share it again.
Okay.
Just the. Mhm. So while you pulling that up, can we ask questions?
Sure.
Where are we with that plan that we just saw with the
Okay.
master plan?
Good question, because that's where I'm going now.
Okay, thank you.
So while we were, right as we finished that plan, the city was in the process of renovating Union Station. Union Station, of course, right across the street from Winston-Salem State. For a long time, you know, it was the garage, it was Davis Garage, and the immediate residents on Excelsior Street, people on the campus, were really fed up with having a junkyard across the street from the campus. So we were able to work closely with City Council and of course the staff, and they were able to acquire Union Station or exercise eminent domain and acquire Union Station from its longtime owner, who received market value, generous market value for the property, and was able to move to another location and continue his business. But the idea here was that in the long term, Union Station could once again be a transportation hub, and that there would be opportunities at street level for neighborhood uses, including some retail and gathering spaces. And I don't know if you've been inside, but they did an excellent job preserving the character of the original facility. And I believe it was close to $12 million that was spent on this renovation. And I only have a few pictures of it, but you can see that these are some of the original features that were preserved inside the building. And there is space in here, and it was requested by the community that there be a sit-down restaurant in this building. That has not come to fruition because the original building did not have, it had a small kitchen, but not the kind of kitchen that would serve as a restaurant space. And so the architects never drew a kitchen in here, never asked for permission from SHPO for a kitchen. And so that piece remains to be done. But there's 36,000 square feet in the building. The city is on the lower level. Winston-Salem State is going to go into the middle and put some of their campus serving offices in the middle floor. And then that top floor, right now, it is available for events. The city is going to rent it out for events. I don't know if any events have actually taken place in there yet, but presumably you can reserve that space the same as you would any city recreation center or the facility over at Salem Lake, the marina space. But I'm sure it's going to be, they're still working out some of the details, but you know, if an organization has insurance and proof of insurance, and they could work with the city on planning an event, my understanding is that that is possible. One thing that the CDC has been able to do is we have acquired, over time, we've acquired approximately 15 lots and vacant houses. And we have started to renovate and demolish and rebuild houses for single family home ownership. The most recently, we finished this house at 1301 Hardesty Lane. And we're, I guess there are 6, let's see, 2, 4, 5, 6 houses that have been finished and 2 that are currently under construction. And I want to point out, we do 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes for first-time home buyers. And this price at 1301, this house sold for $164,000. This sets a new high for the neighborhood. And primarily because, not because we necessarily want to see the home values go up that high, but because of the cost of building supplies and just, I guess, housing inflation due to high demand and low supply. It is still, it seems high in price, but it's still some of the lowest new construction you can purchase in Winston-Salem. From there, one of the projects underway that has not yet broken ground is United Metropolitan's Metropolitan Village. And Metropolitan Village will be cover several blocks. It's going to cover at least 4 blocks when it's finished, and will include in the initial phase about 320 units, apartment units, what they call workforce housing, with some preserved for affordability. But they have retained some of the residents from the original apartments, and they will be able to move into the new facility when it's finished. They're currently still living in some of the older units, and those units will be the last to be torn down as this new facility goes up. But this is something that we hope to see some demolition started this spring, but they have not yet closed on their financing. But as you see, they considered the street level opportunities for retail and then put the apartment units above it. And this would be right at, you'd see this right at 52, between 4th and 5th Street and 52. Where's my other slide? I don't know exactly where it is right now, but I had another picture of Southgate Village, Southgate Apartments. Southgate Apartments are south of where this new Metropolitan Village will be built. But Southgate was an older Section 8 apartment complex of 108 units that cover 14 acres. And originally in the master plan, we wanted to see those owners increase their density, But what they decided to do was just renovate the 108 units that they already had, and they did not change the footprint of that complex at all, unfortunately. But they did get funding to do a renovation, and I believe that renovation is complete. Those owners were part of our planning as well. This is part of the East Winston Shopping Center at 520 North Martin Luther King. It is really comprised of two parts. This is the front part of the shopping center here, where there are approximately, I believe it's about 8,000 square feet in this part of it. That's right near the Popeyes on Martin Luther King. And then behind it is the larger East Winston Shopping Center strip. This part in the front is owned by local owners, and we have made 2 offers on this property with that $3 million that's been set aside. The broker that we were working with had recommended that we offer them. We started at $550,000 for it, and went up to $650,000. In our last communication, they actually went $950,000. I don't know if we're going to go that high, but we really would like to have control of this piece and then potentially get part of the parking lot that's just to the north so that this could be expanded. And again, our goal is not to displace these entrepreneurs who have been in this location for many years. Although they're on month-to-month leases, these entrepreneurs have been in here for years. Our goal would be to make improvements and give the current businesses a chance to stay. That would be preferable. But the piece in the back here, this larger shopping center in the back, is owned by out-of-state owners, and they do not want to sell. So this piece, we have been struggling to really have good conversation. Each time we talk with them, they say $3 million seems like a reasonable price to them, but they don't want to sell. Originally, the conversations were that they wanted to pass it on to their kids and just have them have the income opportunity with no debt on the property. More recently, those conversations are a little more promising, but they do say that they have some title issues that they need to clear up. And they are just interested right now in keeping it fully leased. And they were successful adding Compare Foods to this center about a year ago. So this is an example of a property that has income, but they are not spending any of that money on making improvements in the physical appearance or in the parking lot. Another project that we worked on, but it's not in this East End area, was that we worked with Ujima CDC and Emmanuel Baptist Church on completing a retirement village. This retirement village has started with 52 units, and right now they're adding 10 more. And it is for senior citizens age 62 and up. But this was built off of Old Greensboro Road in an area that hadn't had this kind of new construction in quite a while. Right now, there are some single family houses going up nearby, but this is a project that we struggled to get it done because people said there wasn't a market for this kind of project in this neighborhood. And basically they required that the units be leased before the construction was even, was before the construction was completed. And they were able to meet all of those requirements and move forward. Any questions at this point? Anybody sleep?
One question I had, what would the CDC do with that large $3 million commercial property if they acquired it? Would it be similar to the out parcel where they just, they retain the building and make improvements and give those tenants the opportunity to stay on? Or I guess what's the plan with that large property if you can get at it?
Right. So during the East End planning process, what came out of that was that whole, I think it's a little over 7 acres, that whole parcel would be redeveloped into mixed use so that it would have opportunity for, retail and potentially residential as well, but just to increase the density to maximize the use of that space. Because one of the things that we've come up against, of course, is there's not a lot of vacant square footage anywhere. So the only way to add to it is really to increase the density.
Gotcha.
And a couple other things that are going on in the area. One is Sharman and Michael Baker purchased a lot that's right on Martin Luther King. It was the site of a former dry cleaners. And they are going to put a 30 units of multifamily housing and 11,000 square feet of retail. They've been working on that project for a few years. They've acquired the property, but have struggled getting financing to complete it. They hope to be able to have their financing in place by this summer. And if that happens, they've projected about a year for the construction of the project.
Okay.
But
Carol,
yes.
so that site, I think that you're talking about, does it have a fence up around it now?
It does.
Did they resolve the issue of the soil for that site?
Yes, so it has been remediated. And what they're doing now is monitoring, I believe, some gas emissions. But they've been given clearance to build on it. I think that a well would be maintained, a monitoring well would be maintained on the site, but they've been given clearance that the soil is clean and that it's buildable.
Thank you.
The only other project that I know of right now, and you may have heard recently in the news that Holland Homes at First Baptist Church, they want to expand the number of units that they have for senior housing. And they were looking at a lot that was owned by the county on the corner of 5th and Highland, but that deal kind of fell apart. And actually that lot was a little small for what they want to do anyway. But that is another one of the property owners in that area that has a plan to expand and looking for a location to put more units. So that's about all I have right now. Where's my stopwatch went off. But we are working on it there. As you can see, we're doing some things and some of the other groups in the area are working on some things and the city has invested. We were hoping that the county would use some of their ARPA funds to invest in housing, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. But we're also working to leverage some private investment as well.
Okay. Thank you, Carol. Does anyone have any questions for Carol? Any additional questions, I should say?
Oh, excellent presentation. Thank you for the information.
Well, thank you for your patience. You can tell I didn't go to planning school.
Excellent.
But that was great, Ms. Davis. It was very informative. I enjoyed it.
I don't think
Thank
none
you.
of us did. No, it was good. Thank you.
Thank you. That's what's going on. And if anybody wants to, be part of making something happen, we do have a board of directors that puzzles on these opportunities every month. All right. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carol. Okay. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and proceed with the remainder of our agenda. The next item on our list is the approval of summary minutes. Are there any comments or revisions on those minutes which went out by email? Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
So move. That we approve.
Second by Tasha Wilson.
Okay.
Second.
All right. We'll go ahead and proceed with a quick roll call vote for those minutes. John Coyne. Here. Curtis Walker.
Present.
Gotcha. All right. Salvador Patino.
Approve.
George Edwards.
I approve.
Maninka Gupta. Sorry, I didn't hear you, Maninka. Okay. Brittany Clinton Hill. Brenda Fulmore.
Aye.
Tasha Wilson.
Aye.
John Rothling.
Approve.
Ethne Good.
Approved.
Anton Musoff.
Approve.
Amanda King. And Judy Hotchkiss.
Approve.
Deal. All right, thank you, everyone. Motion passes. Next up, committee reports. I don't have a lot of new news for you all. I don't think none of our committees have met since our last meeting in October. Also, today is the due date for the TAPR project submittal cycle for the coming month in February. And I do not have I haven't received any word about projects. So obviously any potential applicants have till the end of the day, maybe give them a day or two's padding, but looks likely that we will not be having a TAPR committee in February, just because we don't have any projects to look at. For education and awards, like we talked about at our last meeting, next biannual awards programs tentatively scheduled, pandemic permitting, for the spring of 2023. So I think we'll look at activating that, rekindling the work of that committee, maybe in March or April this year. Give us about a year to plan that event out in detail. For trees and woodlands, I think we are planning on meeting in early February. Fingers crossed we can pull off our community roots day for this year. I'm looking forward to it, and kind of like the in-person physical events like that. So I will get in touch with Keep Winston-Salem Beautiful and Vegetation Management to make sure they're on board for that meeting. And I don't have a report for the Gateways Committee. So Anton or Tasha, would you like to provide an official report?
I don't really have anything. Honestly, I don't know if Tasha has anything. Like you said, it hasn't been much going on since October. But yeah, Tasha?
No, I don't have anything. I haven't been engaged in anything or informed about anything to make a report on. I do have a question. When do we start planning for the next biannual celebration? I know you said it's going to be in 2023, but when does that planning start?
Well, yeah, I think we had it tentatively scheduled for spring 2023. So I think we can kind of begin whenever we can begin in February or March with our next
Okay.
meeting. Kind of one or the other. Amy, do you have any input on that or?
Typically in the past, what we've done is we start talking about it, usually early spring, early summer, late spring, somewhere in there, kind of looking at dates and possible ideas for topics for the keynote address, and starting to reach out to people if we have, if someone has a contact that would be a good keynote speaker, to sort of start looking at their availability and what have you. And then also, it'll be a little difficult depending on how things are going. But typically if we've held them in person, they've been over at the Old Salem Visitor Center in the gray auditorium. And that space works really great because it's the perfect size for our type of event. And it's a really beautiful space. But if we do another virtual, then we'll start, getting on the marketing calendar so they are prepared and ready and they can start doing that. But so preliminary discussions start late spring, early summer, or whenever. So if you have any ideas and they pop in your head about a keynote or someone you've heard or saw or watched a TED Talk on or something or other, please shoot their name to us, as it comes to you. Because that's usually one of the trickiest things for us to do, is to get that keynote speaker locked down. And we don't tend to have a lot of money. So that's another factor. If they have a really high speaking fee, it's probably going to be difficult for us to get them. But and we try to look for folks who are outside of the county and the region, really, to bring someone new in, sort of different perspective. And the topic area can be anything that's sort of related to public appearance and aesthetic matters, and community appearance. So that's a pretty broad topic. So it could be a range of ideas. So.
Okay, thanks, Amy. Yeah, I guess based on that, we'll maybe look to get going around April or May to kind of rekindle the work of that committee. I don't think we have any outstanding old business from our last meeting. Main item of new business I had is obviously February is the month when some of our board membership turns over. On the city side of things, those appointed previously by city council. Unfortunately, I believe February will be Salvador's last month with us as a member, and that's simply due to term limits. So I'd like to thank Salvador for his lengthy tenure on the board and his volunteering for all this length of time. So thank you, Salvador.
Thank you, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks. The vacancy that Salvador will leave behind, it is a categorical position. However, Amy and I have looked at kind of the current makeup and composition of our board, and it's not technically necessary that Salvador's replacement be a categorical member. So we'll just look at and see who we get from city council. And for anyone who might be listening out there on YouTube, a real quick overview on what that categorical membership means. That means someone with design expertise and experience, and can be in a broad range of design disciplines. It could be like architecture, landscape architecture, certain engineering disciplines, and historic preservation. So it's pretty open-ended. And also John Coyne, George Edwards, and Tasha Wilson all have terms that will be expiring. But luckily we'll have really good continuity. They've all been asked to be reappointed. So that's great. On the county side of things, we have similar pretty good continuity. Ethne Good and Judy Hotchkiss will need to apply for reappointment in February. And we've had a little bit of email correspondence with that. So look forward to their continued service as well. I haven't heard from Amanda King. So based on that, I think we'll have 3 openings at the county level, and one position non-categorical, and 2 are absolutely required to be categorical. And I want to give a quick spiel for anyone who might be listening on what the CAC is. For anyone who excuse me, who might be listening on YouTube, we're a 15-member advisory board. We advise on a wide array of appearance and aesthetic matters as they relate to built form in the city and the county as well. And how that manifests itself in several different ways. One of our committees, the TAPR committee, reviews publicly funded projects and advises on their appearance as they go through project design. So that can be things like schools, fire and police stations, amenities and parks, things like that. And another one of our committees, assists with organizing the Community Roots Day, the Trees and Woodlands Committee that I was talking about earlier. And that's the annual tree planting event. That's usually held in October. Another one of our committees, the Education and Awards Committee, which we just talked about, organizes that biannual awards event, which recognizes design excellence in the city and county. So if you're interested in joining the board, a couple of different routes to membership. You can be appointed by city council. And for that route to membership, you do have to reside within the city of Winston-Salem proper. And if you're interested in that, you can get in touch with me directly by phone or email. My name's Ken Rankin. I work in the Planning and Development Services Department with the city and county. And or you can also reach out directly to the city clerk office and they can advise you on how to apply. For a county appointment or the county side appointment, being appointed by the Board of County Commissioners, that applies to absolutely everyone who lives anywhere in Forsyth County. So you can live in the city of Winston-Salem, Clemens, Tobaccoville, an unincorporated part of the county, virtually anywhere in Forsyth. And to do that application, you'll have to go to the official county webpage, forsyth.cc. And on the right-hand side of that page, there will be a link for volunteer opportunities. And the applications go live in February, and the board, county commissioners makes their appointments in March. And kind of close this out, it's something that's relevant to our current seated members. I don't think we'll have to necessarily make new officer selections. At least I don't think we do. Anton, I believe you'll continue on as chair and Tasha as vice chair, unless there's a procedural thing I don't know about, which is possible.
No, they're good.
Okay, right on. All right. One other point, last item I wanted to talk about. Amy, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but you can probably help me clarify this. For how we can handle group email communications. You know, we talked a little bit last week and about how the group maybe can and cannot do that. So Amy, would you feel comfortable giving just like a quick overview on that, or?
Yeah, just keep in mind, because we are a public entity and a public board, we fall underneath the public meeting law. And so it's just as a really good reminder, because a lot of folks forget this, is that don't do a reply all, because that can, if we start getting discussions through reply all back and forth, it can be construed as having a public meeting without proper announcement or time or advertisement, which is a problem. So it's typically never a problem. It's not really a problem for us. It's just a nice reminder to folks. I know some people just naturally will click a reply all when they see a bunch of names on an email. But just keep in mind that because of that public meeting law, we want to avoid that so we don't get into a bit of trouble of being perceived as holding business without having proper advertisement as a public body. So that's it in a nutshell.
That's reasonable.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks, Amy. That's kind of all the items of business I had. Does anyone have anything else they'd like to discuss or for the new year?
Other than we can't wait to get out there and start seeing and meeting people before we go entirely crazy. Looking at each other in computers.
Yeah.
You mean you haven't yet?
I'm almost there. Like I'm almost there. But yeah, just miss you all. Just miss people. Honestly, all of the events and networking and the Roots Day and just I'm about done with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. It was good seeing you all. I guess we can wrap it up for the night.
Yeah. Okay. Well. All right. Thanks. Thanks so much, everyone. Appreciate your time and quick. Let's see here. Next significant dates. Our next regular meeting will be February 23rd, and again, we'll aim for trees and woodlands on February 10th. I'll get in touch with Keep Winston-Salem Beautiful and the Vegetation Management Department about that. So fingers crossed on Roots Day this year. Can't be 3 times in a row. So.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, everyone. It was good seeing you all.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.